In a landmark case, Israeli spyware firm NSO Group was ordered by a US jury to pay a staggering $167 million in punitive damages to WhatsApp. This verdict stemmed from NSO's use of sophisticated hacking tools to target WhatsApp users, including journalists, activists, and government officials. The case has sent shockwaves through the cybersecurity world, highlighting the growing threat of mercenary spyware and the legal ramifications of its use. The jury's decision underscores the importance of protecting user privacy and holding companies accountable for their actions in the digital age. NSO Group, a company specializing in the development and sale of surveillance technology, found itself at the center of this legal battle. Their flagship product, Pegasus Spyware, is a powerful tool capable of remotely accessing and extracting data from mobile devices. Pegasus can intercept calls, read messages, activate cameras and microphones, and collect location data without the user's knowledge or consent. It is this invasive capability that lay at the heart of the lawsuit. WhatsApp, the popular messaging platform owned by Meta, accused NSO of exploiting a vulnerability in their system to install Pegasus on the phones of unsuspecting users. This vulnerability, known as a zero-click exploit, allowed NSO to compromise devices without any interaction from the target. Simply sending a specially crafted message, or even just attempting a call, was enough to infect the device. This attack method is particularly insidious because it leaves no trace of any suspicious activity for the user to detect. WhatsApp alleged that NSO used this exploit to target approximately 1,400 individuals across the globe. The targets included journalists, human rights activists, lawyers, and political dissidents, individuals whose work often involves sensitive information and who rely on secure communication channels. The lawsuit, filed in 2019, claimed that NSO's actions violated US and California laws, including the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. WhatsApp argued that NSO's hacking campaign not only compromised the privacy and security of its users, but also damaged the company's reputation and cost them millions in damages. The case dragged on for years, with NSO vigorously denying the allegations and claiming that their software was intended for use by governments to combat terrorism and serious crime. They argued that any misuse of their technology was the responsibility of their clients, not the company itself. Central to the case against NSO Group was the use of zero-click exploits. Unlike traditional hacking methods that rely on tricking users into clicking a malicious link or opening an infected attachment, zero-click exploits require no user interaction whatsoever. This makes them incredibly difficult to detect and defend against. In the case of WhatsApp, the exploit leveraged a vulnerability in the app's voice calling feature. NSO Group was able to send specially crafted data packets to a target's device through a WhatsApp call, even if the call was not answered. Once these malicious packets reached the device, they exploited the vulnerability to gain access to the phone's operating system. This allowed NSO to silently install their Pegasus spyware onto the device without the user's knowledge or consent. Pegasus, once installed, granted NSO virtually unfettered access to the target's data. This included text messages, emails, contacts, call logs, photos, videos, and even real-time location data. The spyware could also activate the device's microphone and camera, effectively turning the phone into a surveillance device. The use of zero-click exploits and Pegasus spyware represents a significant escalation in the sophistication and pervasiveness of the digital surveillance. These tools are often used by authoritarian governments to target journalists, activists, and political opponents, but they can also be used by criminal organizations for financial gain or by individuals seeking to spy on their partners or business associates. The implications for privacy and security are profound. If a simple WhatsApp call can compromise your device and expose your most sensitive data, then no one is truly safe from this type of surveillance. The discovery of NSO Group's activities sent shockwaves through the cybersecurity community and prompted widespread condemnation from human rights groups and governments alike. In response to the revelations, WhatsApp quickly patched the vulnerability and implemented additional security measures to protect its users. The company also took the unprecedented step of suing NSO Group, accusing them of violating US hacking laws and undermining the security of their platform. The WhatsApp hack exposed a disturbing truth about the use of spyware. It's not just about targeting criminals or terrorists. NSO Group's client list, which included governments with questionable human rights records, raised serious concerns about the indiscriminate use of Pegasus. Journalists investigating corruption, lawyers defending political prisoners, and activists campaigning for human rights were all swept up in the dragnet. Their private conversations, sources, and strategies were compromised, putting their lives and work at risk. Among the confirmed targets were prominent journalists working for international media organizations, including CNN, the Associated Press, and the Financial Times. These journalists had reported on sensitive topics such as government corruption, human rights abuses, and war crimes. The targeting of their devices suggested an attempt to silence dissent and obstruct investigations into powerful individuals and organizations. Human rights defenders and activists were also disproportionately targeted. These individuals often operate in hostile environments and rely on secure communication channels to protect themselves and their sources. The use of Pegasus against them had a chilling effect on their work, making it more dangerous to speak out against abuses and advocate for change. The targeting of lawyers was particularly concerning. Lawyers play a crucial role in upholding the rule of law and protecting the rights of their clients. Compromising their devices not only violated attorney-client privilege but also undermined the integrity of legal proceedings. The widespread use of Pegasus against such a diverse range of individuals painted a chilling picture of a world where privacy and security are increasingly under threat. The targeting of journalists, activists, and lawyers underscored the dangers of unchecked surveillance and the need for greater accountability in the spyware industry. The revelations sparked a global debate about the use of spyware and the responsibility of companies like NSO Group. Governments faced mounting pressure to regulate the sale and use of such powerful tools, while tech companies were urged to strengthen the security of their platforms and protect their users from these types of attacks. The $167 million verdict against NSO Group is a watershed moment in the fight against the proliferation of spyware. It sends a clear message that companies involved in the development and sale of such tools cannot operate with impunity. They will be held accountable for the misuse of their products, even if they claim their intended use was legitimate. The verdict is likely to have far-reaching consequences for the cybersecurity landscape. Firstly, it sets a precedent for future lawsuits against spyware companies. Victims of targeted surveillance now have a stronger legal basis to seek redress for the violation of their privacy and security. This could lead to a wave of litigation against other companies operating in this space, potentially forcing them to change their practices or face similar financial penalties. Secondly, the verdict puts pressure on governments to regulate the sale and export of spyware. The revelation that NSO Group's Pegasus was used by authoritarian regimes to target dissidents and journalists has prompted calls for stricter controls on the sale of such powerful surveillance tools. Several countries are already considering legislation to restrict the export of spyware to countries with poor human rights records. Thirdly, the case highlights the need for greater transparency and accountability in the cybersecurity industry. The shadowy nature of the spyware market, where companies operate with little oversight or regulation, makes it difficult to track the use of these tools and hold perpetrators accountable. There is a growing consensus that greater transparency is needed, including the establishment of international norms and standards for the development and use of spyware. The WhatsApp case is a stark reminder that the threat of spyware is real and growing. As technology advances, so too do the tools and techniques available to those who seek to exploit it. The fight for privacy and security in the digital age requires a collective effort from governments, tech companies, and individuals alike.